Hi, I'm Joe with Gramophone, and today we've got a really special surprise. We've taken on one of the most iconic brands, not only I think in our industry, but in all industries, and that's Steinway and Lyngdorf. And we're here today with Lee from Steinway Lyngdorf. Lee, how are you?
Hey, Joe. Good to be here.
Good, great to see you.
Yeah, excited.
Yeah, I alluded a moment ago to the fact that Steinway is one of the most recognized quality brands in the world. Maybe you can tell us just a little bit about how it came to be that they've become involved in our industry.
It is. It's a name that's somewhat synonymous with luxury.
Yes.
Build quality second to none, world renowned for their instrument quality. And, we partnered with them to bring audio to the world. The trick with Steinway is no two pianos sound the same because they are handcrafted. And it's really challenging to actually reproduce the sound of a Steinway piano. And that was one of the tricks, one of the hallmarks that made this partnership work, was we were able to do that. In double-blind tests, we actually were able to show them that they couldn't discern the difference between somebody live playing the piano and the speaker playing back that same recording. It's pretty cool.
So Lee, there's really a kind of a twin brand structure that's going on here, and maybe you can delineate for our listeners how the two brands work together and how it all works.
Yeah, so we have two sub-brands. One's Steinway Lyngdorf and the other one's Lyngdorf Audio. And both are part of our parent company, SL Audio. We're based out of Denmark. We design, build, manufacture everything. They're in Skive, Denmark, little old Skive. You've actually been there.
Yes, I have.
But it's actually two separate brands. One being a full end-to-end, kind of the absolute ultimate, if you will, of performance in Steinway. It's the best finish. It can be custom. It can be something that defines the room, or it can be something that blends into the room. And then Lyngdorf Audio, which we like to say is technology with a purpose. That's more traditional in that it's regular audio components that can mix and match. We can use Lyngdorf speakers with another brand's amplifiers. We can use Lyngdorf amplification with another brand's speakers. That it's a little more flexible and it's not quite as custom.
And we're one of the ones who are lucky enough to have both Steinway and Lyngdorf brands. And maybe, if you don't mind, Lee, just tell us a little bit about how this partnership between Gramophone as a displaying dealer in the Mid-Atlantic and yourselves came together.
Yeah, so we're thrilled to be partnered with Gramophone
Thank you.
Sister company worldwide. That we think, we're very selective about who we let sell our product. We know it is a special product. It's not for everybody, and we want to make sure that people who are selling it can represent it right, can give the right experience with it. And we're really excited to have the stuff here on display at Gramophone so people can not only see how great it looks, but it can actually come experience what it really is.
Absolutely. We're actually sitting here at the Experience Center in Timonium, and we've got some remarkable products as well as now your products in this space in really a beautiful and a remarkable setting. So we'd urge you to stop by and listen here if you have any chance that you can. Maybe you could also tell us just a little bit about something that I think many of our viewers are becoming more and more aware of, and that's that however good quality of components or poor quality I have in my home, there's the room. And the room is really a component in and of itself. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that truth and also the fact that you've got one of the best solutions in the marketplace to address the room.
Yeah, it's a pretty big deal because that room, like you said, it is one of the components of the system, and it typically is the worst component anybody owns. And we love our components. We like to think they're top of the food chain. We make the best stuff in the world. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good something is when you put it in a bad environment. So we've been doing room correction for a really long time. We actually have the largest audio video filing for a patent on record for our room perfect room correction. And it's actually like a 5th generation room correction. Peter Lyngdorf, when he owned Snell, actually invented room correction under the RCS brand back in 1995, I think it was. Okay. So he's been doing it a really long time, and we're doing things a little differently than everybody else. We're not just taking into account frequency response, but we're also taking the time domain, impulse response, and power response into account. And we take a lot of the room out of the equation, and we make some really bad rooms actually sound really good. Pretty powerful. It's in every piece of our electronics.
If you're not so familiar with room correction in general, or obviously room perfect, which is what you guys have for room correction, some of the things that will happen if your room is negatively affecting your sound is, number one, you can have somebody sitting here and getting really pretty good bass sounds, and somebody sitting where you are, Lee, and they're almost experiencing no bass at all. And from all my years of selling subwoofers for a well-known sub manufacturer, it can be striking. You literally can be in one spot and it sounds great, and 2 feet, 3 feet over, and it's just not there. So there's that. But then in addition, there's the high frequency type situations where, sometimes people say, oh, I had this speaker and it didn't sound great with that amplifier. Then when I switched to this amplifier, well, that room is probably exaggerating or muting high frequencies. And
it can be. It can really smear things, especially in the time domain.
Yes.
That one of the things we really find is not only does it clean up the bass and in multiple places, it also really makes a big difference in the soundstage, especially in the depth of the soundstage. That's what I always find the most shocking about it, and it actually sounds really good on music. I've been around for a while, I've found with a lot of different room correction systems, not all of them sound good on music, that often we'll find people defeating it playing music. And we actually find most of the time people leave ours on. It actually sounds musical.
So we've already discussed a little bit, Lee, about guaranteeing the performance in the client's home, which is really where the rubber meets the road anyway. So maybe we can just talk a little bit about this system that we have on display here at the Experience Center.
Yeah, and we do always describe it as a system. We don't mix and match other electronics with our speakers. Like you mentioned, that's how we guarantee the performance. A lot of our crossovers are done digitally in the amplifier. All the system remains digital, ones and zeros all the way through. We actually control the output of the amplifiers, our volume control. And it's done with similar components between all the different systems. We can look at a few of those, and then we can talk about the speakers.
Absolutely. And that's really an advantage. Some folks might feel, well, gosh, that could be a disadvantage. I like mixing and matching. The whole reason that people like mixing and matching, as you know, is that if you're the manufacturer of the amplifier or the manufacturer of the speaker, you don't know what else is being mated up to it. It's a powerful advantage when you're making all the components in the system, which is how you're able to guarantee performance in the customer's home.
It sure is, and us staying all in the digital realm helps with that a lot too. That combined with our room correction is part of how we can work with the room instead of fighting against the room.
Exactly. So maybe we'll just delineate real briefly for our viewers what products we have here.
Yes, yeah. So in all of our systems, we're always going to have an audio processor, which is kind of the heart of the system. It's what your typical AVR or surround sound processor is. This is our P100, which is capable of surround sound. We're using this here because this also does all our streaming. It's a Roon endpoint, it's Qobuz Connect, it's Tidal Connect, it's Spotify Connect, it's AirPlay, it's even Bluetooth. Please don't use Bluetooth. But this does all of our streaming as well as has all of our inputs, does our HDMI switching, everything's at HDMI 2.1. And then we're taking digital bus from there into our amplifier, which this is one of our A1 2-channel amplifiers. It's 400 by 2. This uses our Equibit technology. It is true digital amplification. That differs from Class D in that there is no analog input stage. We actually do direct PCM to PWM conversion, which Peter always likes to call them power DACs. It's pretty cool. This is 400 by 2 running these speakers. There's also a 4-channel amplifier, the A2, that's 400 by 4. And those are the heart, really, of any system combined with Room Perfect for us.
Sounds great. And then let's talk about this speaker, which to me, Lee, is unique for a couple reasons. Number one, I think this is one of the most attractive speakers I've ever seen. It sounds great. That's also a good thing. But unusually, Lee, we have it up against the wall. Generally, we can't make speakers sound their best when they're up against the wall. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, these are unique. So we take a couple different approaches when we're looking at speakers. So it's one of two things. We want it to blend into the space and still perform as best it can, or we want it to dominate the space. It's a piece of art, which we have some big speakers that do that. But this is our Model O, and this is what I would consider a lifestyle-friendly speaker in that it is designed to go against the wall. And these are customizable. These are in a custom gloss white here. Typically, they're in a gloss black. We have wood panels also available for them. They can be RAL color matched to anything. So they're room and design friendly that they go up against. And our engineer, Henrik, actually voiced these for placement against the wall. They don't get that BBC hump where they sound tubby up against the wall like most speakers do. Mm-hmm. We're taking that into consideration in the voicing of the speaker. And we took that into account for our polar dispersion of the speaker also. So they still stage right against the wall, which is pretty cool.
We're still here at the Timonium Experience Center, and now we want to talk about a really unique system, Lee, that is essentially right here and the electronics right below it. So tell us a little bit about what I think is one of the finest sounding products I've ever heard, and it's a sound bar.
Yeah, I almost hesitate to call it a soundbar just because of the connotation, but a lot of people wanted a simple, clean solution that was less of the clutter. They like the idea and the simplicity of a soundbar, but not everybody wants that to be low performance.
Right.
So this is our take on what a soundbar can be and what the real performance involved in. So this uses 3 of our S15 satellites in it, and one of our dual 10 in-wall woofers is what the equivalent of this is. This still uses our AMT driver, neodymium mids, and thin low-profile subs, but has the type of output that our typical systems do, and has the type of sound staging that our typical systems do. And as you mentioned, it is a system. You know, our electronics guarantee the level of performance that helps us perform the way it does. And Room Perfect helps us sound good in less than ideal listening positions, which is often what we find these are used in.
Right. I mean, this on the wall type of approach is the cleanest way, or one of the cleanest ways you can do a system in a home, but it does typically result in some fairly significant compromises. This sounds nothing like, as you alluded to, Lee, sounds nothing like a standard sound bar.
Nope.
It sounds terrific. And the levels of bass and the quality of the bass, what you're actually hearing when you put on some music and you're hearing the bass notes, is really, really good in this one.
Almost surprising.
Absolutely surprising.
Yeah.
And of course, it is paired then with, again, your electronics. And I believe these are the same electronics we've got here, right?
Yeah, this is another one of our P100 processors, and this just is the 4-channel amplifier. So this is 400 by 4 running this. This is 1,600 real watts of our pure digital amplification running it. That it is staggering the output. This is not limited to small spaces, and sounds incredible. It's also customizable. You have it shown here in our traditional piano gloss with the gloss gold trim, but these can be white, they can be matte black, they could be Ferrari red, they could be McLaren blue. We can do anything you want with these to make it blend into your decor.
So now we're over here at the main showroom in Timonium, across the parking lot from the Experience Center. And Lee, this time we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Lyngdorf brand, which really gives you the option of either pairing Lyngdorf speakers with your electronics, and in that same sense being able to guarantee performance, or mixing and matching Lyngdorf with maybe products that electronics that the customer already owns. But either way, I have to tell you, we've been blown away by the value proposition of this more affordable set of products.
Yeah, Lyngdorf is a little more real-world friendly. It's not the same fine artwork, let's say, that Steinway is, but a lot of the performance trickles down through. And we use the tagline, technology with a purpose, that a lot of the things we do really make a difference in the real world and make them more real world livable. Like Room Perfect and our amplifiers, that really cleans up the sound in the room, whether it be with our speakers or somebody else's speakers. If you happen to really love another pair of speakers, we can make those do the best they can. Or you like our speakers because it's a great solution for the area, no problem. They're an easy load to drive that we can run them on any amplifier.
And when it comes to the speakers, tell us the model number of this one again.
These are our new FR2s, and these are unique, kind of like the Model O's we showed you over at the Experience Center, that these are designed to go up against the wall. They're voiced that they don't sound tubby or boomy. They actually sound clean and have great impulse response. And they're also designed that they have the right dispersion pattern for up against the wall, so they have a really good sound stage. So because of that, these are a lot more room friendly than your typical speaker, that we don't have to be out 2 to 3 feet into the room eating up the space. These tend to more disappear into your space.
Okay. And for the client that wants this type of sound, if you audition these and you love them, but wants to go in-wall, you have a solution there.
We do. We make an in-wall speaker called the D60 that actually uses the same driver configuration. And it's still a HDF enclosure that goes in the wall, so we can guarantee the performance of them. It just isn't ported, so it doesn't have the same bottom end that this speaker does, that typically we want to use it with a subwoofer, whether it's one of our in-wall woofers or one of our freestanding woofers. We would do that paired together, but we can make them disappear even more.
So a huge percentage of the in-wall products that, or in-ceiling products either way, that get sold every year are actually open baffle, so there's nothing behind the speaker itself. The enclosure really becomes that section in between the studs,
Yep.
But that's not true with your in-wall, right? You've got
Right.
a very specially designed
That's
box or
part
cabinet.
of how we guarantee the performance, right? It's a properly tuned enclosure that it makes the speaker sound as best it can. It also stops the mitigation of sound through to the adjacent areas, that it makes a big difference when we're doing a high performance theater, you don't want to wake up the whole family when you're having tanks blow up and stuff.
That's right. And the box is not a typical MDF, correct?
Right, we actually use HDF, which is higher density. That allows us to use a thinner wall thickness, but actually have a stiffer cabinet that has less resonance.
So it both fits in between the studs more easily that way and really helps guarantee that authoritative bottom end without projecting a lot of volume into the room it's adjacent to. Right.
Helps us maximize performance in the space.
Now tell us a little bit, if you would, about the amplifiers, because again, our sales team has reacted very positively to what you've done with your amps.
Yeah, so you have currently 2 of our integrateds and about to be the 3rd one when it starts shipping here. We have our TDA AI 1120, which is I laugh when I call it our baby integrated because it's 120 watts a channel with room perfect and our true digital amplification. You have here running the FR2s. Out front, you have one of our 3400, our 400 watt per channel integrateds out there, along with our CD2 CD player. And shortly here, when we start shipping them, the TDA AI 2210, the new mid-size piece that's 210 watts a channel, we'll have out here too.
And all 3 of them have the Room Perfect technology in it, correct?
Yeah, all 3 use our Room Perfect, which again helps take the worst component out of the equation, as well as all 3 use our true digital amplification also, where there is no digital to analog conversion, no analog to digital conversion. We're not taking the textbook that was written in English, translating it to Spanish, and then back to English. We're actually leaving it so there's less errors the whole way through. The other cool thing is that lets us use the volume control to adjust the output stage instead of turn down the signal. That way we're not just amplifying noise. Right. So a fun thing people can do here if they want to come experience it, careful not hitting pause, but if you pause some music with the volume all the way up, put your ear right up to a tweeter on one of our speakers, you won't hear any noise.
Lee, we could probably go on for a lot longer, but hopefully we've given you, the viewer, a little bit of an idea of the quality approach in both the Steinway and the Lyngdorf brands. Lee, we're so happy that you were able to come and spend some time with us today. We really want to thank you for that.
Great.
And we really want to thank you, the viewer, for watching this video. If you haven't thus far, please like and subscribe. That helps us out a ton. And click that little bell icon so you're always notified of our upcoming content. You can find out more about these brands by going to Gramophone.com, and you can shop for them at Sky by Gramophone, where you're always going to get a secure checkout, fast and free shipping straight to your door. Thank you again for watching this video. We look forward to seeing you at the next one.